Find the state of art in almost every area. In the private sector, in general, is inept. With me now, Christopher Horner. He serves as a senior fellow at the Competitive Enterprise Institute. Christopher, thanks for joining us. Is it true that governments has to be able to spend money on big projects, and I'm thinking of the atom bomb?
Well, the government can spend from general funds, for example, general revenue on areas where they see the private sector not spending. For example, if the Department of Defense wants to find a way for secure intelligence, military intelligence communications that would survive a first blast, then the private geniuses in the private sector could spin that out into the internet. But this idea that we have to unleash the innovative power of taxation so that stupid private sector will finally clamor for its betters in government to invent flubber is an odd message made to honor by the messenger, a guy who just in the same interview, I believe, this month in Atlantic, said that he decried the human cost of increasing the price of energy, who recently admitted that government energy, windmills and solar panels don't work, and who did not invent Microsoft Office because there was a tax on typewriters and DOS. In fact, knows better than anybody how harmful government can be when it decides it knows best.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, it's very hard for the private sector to attack and fund for decades, which is what most big advancements take, if there's no commercial incentive.
Right, but think about the premise. There is no profit incentive for inventing pixie dust. I can't think of anything, an alternative source of energy that actually works, that isn't living in the taxpayer's basement for decades, is probably the greatest reward for the risk out there. The problem is when the government gets in and does this, as opposed to R&D in areas where the private sector won't engage, you're talking about clearly intentionally distorting markets. Remember, the president vowed, for example, in the name of the exact same agenda, for the first time, I believe, ever, a president vowed to bankrupt a legitimate industry to, quote, finally make renewable energy profitable. That's not a legitimate object of government. This is to distort, not to develop something. Gates's argument is there's no profit motive for something else because the stuff we have works so well. Well, he's sort of self-defeating.
All right, Christopher, we love having your perspective and your insight. Christopher Horner, we thank you.
Thank you.
Senior Fellow, Competitive Enterprise Institute. Well, speaking of